Hello from the Crystal Coast. This is Pastor Kevin, encouraging you to run with endurance the race that God has set before you. It's Thursday, February the 9th. I've come out of a worship gathering from time to time in my faith journey, and I've had the thought, wow, I really didn't get much out of that today, or that just wasn't my cup of tea. I suspect if it's your habit to gather with the people of God weekly, that you've had the same kinds of thoughts from time to time. And so I've been wondering, is that kind of attitude appropriate? Is it right? I was reading through Leviticus and Leviticus chapter 10. God's given his people instructions about how they're to conduct themselves in worship in the tabernacle. And it says that same day, Nadab and Abihu, Aaron's sons, took their censers, put hot coals and incense in them, and offered strange fire to God, something that God had not commanded. Fire blazed out from God and consumed them, and they died in God's presence. That's fairly radical, abrupt. And so here's my thoughts as I was reading about that, thinking about my attitude towards worship on occasion, and then when I read that passage, here's the thought I had. God is the one who defines what is appropriate and what is right when it comes to worship. That's not our role. We are participants in worship. We express our devotion to God in worship. We're not evaluators of worship. So, what is appropriate? What is right when it comes to worship? Jesus said this in John chapter 4, "The hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father is seeking such people to worship him." God is spirit. Those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. So my prayer for us today is that our worship of God would come from our hearts. It wouldn't just be routine. And that it would be consistent with what God has actually revealed about himself in his word. This is going to be a huge weekend, and so let me invite you to pray that God moves in powerful ways through Night to Shine on Friday evening, through Upward Basketball on Saturday, and then through our worship gatherings this Sunday. And in the meantime, enjoy the journey that God's got you on for his glory.